Hi, I'm Sheriff Scott McKenna. I wanted to do another video kind of to, one, give some understanding to a lot of our residents here in Lapeer County and hopefully to interject a little bit of calm. One of the things that we're seeing right now, and I truly have received hundreds and hundreds of phone calls from friends, families, neighbors, and everyone throughout Lapeer. Everyone right now is at a little bit of a breaking point, and it's completely understandable. Unfortunately, we're dealing with something that none of us have ever dealt with in our lifetime, and it's crazy and it's scary. I think one of the things with being cooped up and the fear of what's going on in the economy and we're seeing so much battling between so many other people, and some of it is completely justified. There's a lot of things on both sides that I understand. I stopped yesterday in a gas station here in Lapeer on my way into work, and I was talking to a lady that's there every day. She's been there from the beginning since all this started. One of the things she got talking to me about, which I think it's kind of crazy, and it was kind of sad at the same time, is she said, I've been here since the beginning of this. I'm worked day shift all the time through this, and she said, since 90% of the customers that come in here are the same people every day. And as she talked about it, she said, I've seen the decline in people mentally and unfortunately physically. And I thought it put it really into perspective because she sees them every single day that are coming through, and she said the toll that this has taken on everybody. It's pretty profound, and we talked about it, and the bad part is she's right. I think we're all seeing that. Before I get into some of the key points of it, I really want to take a minute and thank everybody that's essential out there. First of all, everybody in Lapeer for doing their part. I really want to thank the hospital staff, the doctors, nurses, the people that are cleaning rooms, respiratory therapists, all of our first responders, the health department. They've been nonstop through this, emergency management, all the other things. But also all those essential employees that have kept food in our fridges or items that we needed that were essential. So I thank you to each and every one of them because it's taken a toll on them also, and they've kind of got us through this. So I don't think they get a ton of credit. I do. I love it. I see the things that are coming in here, people in delivering food to hospitals. Thank you for that. And that's what I always talk about all the time, how Lapeer County comes together, and it's just another example of how great this county is. So let's talk a little bit about the executive orders. This is probably the biggest thing that I'm getting phone calls on for multiple reasons, and very justifiably so. I think most of you know me and know that I'm very professional. I have respect for people in their positions, and all of the state leaders are in a really tough position. All of the federal leaders are in tough positions. I'm not here to dispute either side of that. The executive orders, since they've come out, I'll be truthful with you. There's a lot of things that I struggle with. And unfortunately, a lot of these executive orders put us right into the middle of this because there was so much gray area, so much misunderstanding, and a lot of things that we didn't understand, and then people ultimately are putting out there that we're going to be enforcing these. I don't agree with that. I obviously not taking anything away from the people that are sick and have died and all the things that were in there, but there's so much conflicting things, especially when it comes to our businesses. We have big box corporations that are open and local businesses that aren't. Again, not taking away from the medical side of it is, but these are things that unfortunately I have to deal with every day. And a lot of the things that I don't have answers for because of how vague they are. Some of you have come to me recently in the last couple of days. Some of the sheriffs up in northern Michigan put out a letter, a reference to the executive order. And I'm sure some of you have seen those. And in short, I'll paraphrase this, but they basically said, we will not have strict enforcement of these orders. We will deal with on a case-by-case, common sense basis. Very well put. And the truth of the matter is, and that's why I thought it was important to come and talk to you today, is we've been doing that from the beginning. These are common sense. We are not out there looking to violate or looking for these instances where people are violating that. There has to be a situation where we evaluate case by case. We need people to be smart. We understand that people are struggling and the things that are going through with unemployment and all the other stuff with it. I put emails out from going back to the beginning of March, and I want people to be clear on this because I get asked about this more than anything, and it's probably my fault that I didn't come out and talk about this prior, but unfortunately we have been a little bit busy. I put emails out to the deputies. We are not and will not be pulling people over to see where they're going. We will not be checking on people to see if they're coming and going to somewhere essential. I'm not okay with that. And I want to make sure clear to people that we're not doing that. I get good people, good family people that are concerned to have their husband or wife go in to Kroger's or whatever store to buy something where they're going to get pulled over and get first it was a $500 ticket, now a $1,000 ticket. We're not doing that. The other part with that, I think, that comes into it is the common sense side of what we as a public are doing. And I touch on this, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, just last week. And I won't say the department to put more information out there that's needed, but somebody actually went on Facebook, put a post on there of a local police department policing an accident in Home Depot parking lot. What the actual story was is that there was a private property accident, that 911 was called, the officers responded, took care of the accident, that was fine, and they moved on. Someone took a photo of the officer standing at one of the windows of the cars that were involved in the accidents, and then placed that information on Facebook, saying that the law enforcement in Lapeer was ticketing people and standing there looking at people's receipts when they came out of this store to see if they had essential items. If they did not have essential items, they were writing them a $1,000 ticket for violating the executive order. That's absurd. And unfortunately, that defeats everything we're trying to do as law enforcement. These men and women are out there busting their butts every day, and we have somebody actually that just took information, completely turned it around, and lied to put more fear in the public. That's why I need you to know that is not happening. That will never happen. The other part of that, I think, is the resources that we have. We don't have the resources to do this. And everyone understands, and I'm not going to go into all the small logistical stuff of what we're doing here, but we're quarantining shifts. And for example, if you got 12 people that are normally on the road, we're doing 2 platoons of 6 so they're not around each other. Why? Because if one gets infected or is around there, those people are quarantined for 14 days. So we're running shorter staff because we have to. Because ultimately with a sheriff's department like our size, if we were to lose 12 people, we would cripple the sheriff's department. We would cripple your safety. So we're doing a lot of these things. So when we talk about resources and out there writing people tickets for all these things, that's just not possible. And unfortunately, my responsibility to you is way more important than that. I got to make sure that our people are safe, and if you do have an emergency, that they can respond to that. Not responding to these things that ultimately we can't clarify as into what the true meaning of some of them are. So I hope that clears up that part of it is, so that people understand we're here for you. These deputies, these officers and stuff live in the same community as you do. They're raising their families here. We're here to help. We're not here to do this. Everyone's going through a crazy time. But I don't want the misinformation, the posts on social media that were complete lies. And unfortunately, that scares everybody. People are already paranoid. People are already having stress because of financial and economic reasons and family reasons and kids being home. You don't need information like that just to make it worse. I touched on it in that last video, and I probably touch on it in every video. Please keep an eye on your kids. Please keep an eye on making sure they're okay. We as adults can't figure out really what's going on and are confused and frustrated and all these other things that are happening. And then you throw the financial stress, or are you off work? Have you been trying to get on unemployment and unable to? They're trying to understand it too. And when we can't, it makes it really tough on them. And understand there's going to be breaking points. Heck, there's breaking points for us as adults at times where we struggle through that. The other thing, and probably lastly, I want to put out there that by me doing this, folks, please understand, I'm coming to you this as genuine as possible. And as a friend of yours that lives in here and coached here, this doesn't give free rein for people just to go out and be crazy. It doesn't give free rein for people to say, oh, Scott said they're not doing this and they're not doing that. Common sense comes into play. And we are going to deal with this on a case-by-case basis. If somebody is out there and doing something that is putting our town in jeopardy and making decisions in public gatherings, whatever it may be, then obviously we're going to intervene and try to stop and make a smart decision. Don't put us in that spot. The day-to-day people are doing a great job of staying home, keeping their family safe, whatever it may be. I'm hoping, just like a lot of you, that there, come April 30th, that we'll have some answers to start looking at opening up with it. And with that, I do ask I spoke to Senator Kevin Daly this morning, and we speak every day because of all the things going on. He was talking about a bipartisan group in Lansing that was just formed with a group of people that they're trying to get opinions, advice, and help on how you believe as businesses you can open up. And basically they're looking for ways for you to help in those decisions. If you go online to MI, so Michigan MI, safeworkplaces.com. There's a survey on there. If you as a business, small business, whatever, can go in, log on to that survey and put that information, it doesn't take very long, I went through it myself, that'll help with this because we need to start looking at those things. We need to get rolling again. And ultimately, when I said about not giving free rein, let's keep in mind for the people that we have lost in this county. I don't have the new numbers from today, but as of yesterday, there was 125 that had tested positive and 11 deaths. So when I say this about the executive orders and some of the things I don't agree with it, understand there's people grieving in our community right now because of what this has done to us. Have respect for that. Have respect for each other. And most importantly, please be safe and know we are out there to help you. We are not out there to mess with you. I ask that each of you be safe, and I will talk to you soon.